Young people in Lahaina have been faced with a unique hardship. The last months of their high school careers were upended by tragedy after destructive and deadly wildfires tore through Maui. But thanks to a very special program, some of those students got a chance to take a grand adventure to Japan to meet with others who've lived through similar circumstances and learn about rebuilding and resilience. Our Becky Worley has this latest edition of our initiative, Maui 808.
White fish, but it's shirauo. And then you put wasabi.
Wasabi.
Here in northeastern Japan, Lahaina high school students are rolling themselves into another culture. 4,000 miles from their burned out town, survivors of another disaster here share wisdom. The 11 students are part of a cultural exchange program called Kibo for Maui, sponsored by Japan's Ministry of Foreign Affairs and implemented by the U.S.-Japan Council. The goal, to give these Lahaina teens hope, Mana'olana in Hawaiian, Kibo in Japanese.
I was born and raised in
The driving force behind this trip is Miku Narisawa. She's co-founder of Odyssey Nature Japan.
When I saw the wildfires, then I immediately said, okay, this is something that we should do for the kids in Lahaina. This is also one of them.
Just over a decade ago, Miku was a survivor, just like these kids. In 2011, Miku's hometown was completely destroyed by the Great East Japan earthquake and the tsunami that followed. It killed tens of thousands of people, laid waste to entire towns, and triggered the Fukushima nuclear accident 85 miles away. 12-year-old Miku survived by evacuating with hundreds of others to the third floor of her elementary school. Miku and her family lived without electricity and running water for nearly 2 months. She says that day changed her life forever.
Our town was destroyed. We lived with my grandparents for a month, and after that, we have to relocate to a temporary housing. Then we lived there for 2 years. Same height as the tsunami.
But now, showing the kids her rebuilt hometown, she says it's living proof they have a future, and Lahaina will rise from the ashes.
Your story, in a way, mirrors the story of so many of these kids who ran for their lives, lost everything, living temporary housing. What do you hope that they realize from seeing you 13 years on, seeing this place 13 years on?
I want them to know that experience the wildfire was really tough, I'm sure, but that is not the end of the world, and that's not, the end of everything.
Miku herself benefited from a similar program called Tomodachi Rainbow for Japan Kids, and after the tsunami, she traveled to Hawaii with 150 other Japanese students.
This is a full circle for us.
Hawaii resident and USJC board member Yo Kawanami was a volunteer and met Miku in 2011.
I met this 13-year-old that had lost a lot at that time, and fast forward to 13 years later, she is a co-founder to a nonprofit organization in Tohoku area where she is preaching sustainability, growth, and giving back to the community. When you have a role model that actually has walked the talk, she is a survivor, and now she's a leader. Nothing should stop the 11 students, the Maui students, to feel the same way. Having Miku in front of that is a true example of what hope could be for these students.
One of those kids, Zine Lagpakan, who lost his home in the fire. Back on Maui, it's the night before the trip, and the nerves are running high.
What's your worry for a rebuilt Lahaina?
Oh, I worry that there's going to be no housing for the residents before the fire. I feel like a lot of situations where this happens, it turns into a big tourist trap. and I just don't want that to happen to my hometown.
Yeah. What do you hope that you can learn in Japan to keep that from happening?
Oh, great question. I'm not entirely sure, actually. That's the reason why I'm going to Japan.
What questions would you ask?
I want to ask them how to make it feel like home again.
A few miles away, Mia Kosanoski, hoping the trip brings her clarity.
I just want to help any way I can because I love this community so much. And I know I keep saying that, but it's so true because this community has shaped who I am.
Originally, she thought she'd go to college in California.
Then after the fire, kind of everything really changed, like my way of thinking and what I saw for the future. And I just feel like my place is here.
All of the students are hoping to contribute, like MG, a high school senior who's already taking college-level courses in disaster management.
I started taking course this semester and I've loved it. It relies on human history and human error to improve the system.
Some students leaving Maui for the very first time to make the 10-hour trek to Japan. The cohort selected and coached by the Japanese Cultural Center of Hawaii.
A tremendous growth opportunity for these students to come up here, be away from home, be in a different climate, to meet people and understand they're not alone in what they're going through.
On arrival, the students taking it all in.
Oh, wow.
The students getting a glimpse of what was left after the disaster here, a time capsule of what this town once was.
It kind of gives us hope for Lahaina because they were talking about how everything was underwater and like seeing home, like just everything's burnt right now, to see like there is hope, like it can come back and flourish and like have life again.
Seeing how high the wave of water was, now just a line of paint on the wall. Hearing stories of survival and loss, it struck a chord with Zine.
That really hit me hard.
There were so many parallels with Lahaina in the story of the tsunami. What did you see that was the same?
I guess the sentimentality about how people lost their loved ones, and I could really relate.
But the magic of this trip, the kids realizing there is life even after a disaster of this magnitude, and that their lives will not always be dominated by the fire. They meet Japanese students, bonding over sports and their favorite foods. They share culture and also learn how this community found healing. And they see how the rebuild can include progress, like this reimagined oyster farm that's now wholly centered on sustainability. The farm, once owned by this fisherman, Gosan's family, it was destroyed by the tsunami, but he recovered.
That really struck a chord to me because it really shows that if you don't give up and you keep persevering, you can return things back to what they were.
Yeah. My hope is that they return home and, they use what they've learned from Japan and everyone that they met here and put it into action back home.
The week culminating with those ideas.
So that brings the question, what can we bring back to Lahaina?
When I visited Onagawa, I found it very interesting on how they decided to rebuild. This made me realize that we need to think strategically when it comes to rebuilding our hometown.
We also want to bring back hope in meaning we can rebuild and recover Lahaina back. This trip really gave me hope, and I thought if I got a spark of hope, I think my community will also will.
Even if we come out of a tragedy that destroyed many of our daily lives, there's still hope for us to recover. There's still hope for a better future. So keep a hope for a better future. That's what it means to me.
Likely a transformational trip. Our thanks to Becky Worley for bringing us that.
Hi everyone, George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel, and don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.